Hello everyone. So welcome to our review for Alan Wake after watching our Retro Spotlight series. And I do say "our" because we actually have Jarrell from Underachievers Studios, who was the one playing the game. So thank you for enduring that, first of all.
Yeah, because I do not streamline shit when I play.
So, of course, I said I would, we would show the physical copy of the games as they come. So this is the collector's edition of the game. Do you want to do the revealing of this?
No, that's all you, boss.
Okay, so it's gonna be so there's a little slipcover, and the collector's edition comes in this.
I still have issues with that game right now.
Besides that, it comes as a book essentially. And sorry for knocking the camera, but there's the back. But it has like this nice kind of faux suede cover, and then of course you open it up. It has a magnetic, magnetic click essentially, like along the edges here. So here is the game with the faux signature of Alan Wake, and here's everything that comes with it. Let me see if I can focus on that. There we go. So of course in this part right here we have the game, which I actually got this on Amazon from a very, very awesome seller. So here is the disc or the case containing the game, which is right here, the actual game we actually played. Pretty much flawless, as you can see me in the camera right there in the disc. And the best thing about this, which is insane, aside from the fact that it actually contains everything and the manual itself, which we'll actually flip through real quick. Introducing you to table of contents, Bright Falls, which was actually a YouTube video containing certain episodes of Night Springs to introduce you to Bright Falls and the strange goings on of the city. And of course they don't make manuals like this, like I said before with Soul Reaver, the Soul Reaver review, where they actually give you like information on characters, controller layouts, information about the world, like the Raven, the Poltergeist objects.
There's even a quick handy guide for the controls on the back of the book, if you don't want to actually flip through it.
Yeah, so Bryan didn't read any of this while he was wanting to play, which probably would have helped him out. But either way, it actually added to the gameplay, because Bryan has been a very, very big fan of this game before he even got a chance to play it. Yeah, it was all hype for him until he actually got a chance to get his hands on it. That's why I had him play it. And then here's the, believe it or not, the special edition DLC voucher, which, when I bought this, as you can see here, it is actually not been redeemed yet. Like, it's, the perforation has not been used at all. That is insane. Thank you. I forgot the seller's name, but he was great. Yeah, that guy for like for about $24 for selling me this copy of the game, complete. Here is the bonus disc of the game, which contains the soundtrack, and of course the bonus disc, which has like behind the scenes featurettes, as well as unlocks the Alan Wake avatar skins of the scarf, and then here is an in-universe book. Pretty much like dossier files in universe from Alan himself, talking about Bright Falls and of course the people. And it is, I think, 132 pages. Let me make sure. About 130 pages. So this is the main thing, because a lot of collector's editions didn't include this. So I am happy with the fact that we got this. If I could just have it all laid out there. So now let's hear from the person who actually got to play it. Bryan.
Yes.
What is your review for Alan Wake, being a first-time player?
Being a first-time player, my review is it's a great game. It's a great concept. Told very well. A little glitchy around some of the edges, but mostly some of the character designs are a little glitchy. But other than that, I really liked it a lot. And I probably, to be honest, if I played fully, I probably could have done it on the hardest mode. I did it on the middle mode, but I probably could have done it on the hardest mode because I didn't use like any of my batteries half the time, any of my flare guns half the time. Like I didn't end up using the flashbangs or flares until like really later on in the game, like profusely.
So I was trying to explain to Brian the learning curve of the game, and he wasn't getting it, essentially, until near the end of the game when he realizes that my learning curve was meant to really fucking help him a lot. And then he tried to implement at least half of them.
Yeah. Well, there was one time when I was like, "Are you sure this is the dodge button?"
Yeah, there was that.
And I was like, what is dodge button? It's this one. Okay, I'm pressing it. We'll press it again. Oh, wait, it's the other button.
So in my defense, along with while Brian was playing this during the first 2 or 3 chapters, I was playing Quantum Break, and of course the B button is the like the time shield button, which is why I figured why it was like. And of course, Remedy makes both Alan Wake and Quantum Break, so which is why I was so instilled in B.
That's fun. It just that one night I was like, man, I could have done a lot better.
So Brian wasn't a part of the Soul Reaver review. To which, when I said that a long time ago, when you bought a game, it didn't have these, these universal control settings. Like you got a game, it had a certain set of controls, and you had to adjust how to work around them. So not every single game was the same. And Alan Wake is definitely one of those games. The controls of the game were nowhere near related to any of the games that were out at the time. Including Halo Reach, Call of Duty Black Ops 1. So it was still one of those games where you had to adapt to the game. There wasn't a patch that came out to make the controls more universal and better for everyone to play. You actually had to adapt to the game, not the game adapt to you.
I will say that rider's stamina is BS.
Yeah. 10 steps and he's out of breath.
10 steps, 10 strides and he's out of breath. I'm not an athlete by any way, shape, or form.
There's no way in the next few years will you be able to run a 2-minute presidential mile, or a 2-mile presidential run.
In a year, I might be able to, but like in the game, if things just started happening, no. But I can go more than 10 steps before I'm winded and like basically limping. Especially if someone's throwing sides at me.
Spit of vinegar in Brian's voice. Rightfully so, because the game is very challenging for what it is. It has a very unique combat system. You need to use your flashlight. Light is the key to at least weakening your enemies to the point where you could actually shoot them and kill them. Until then, they're pretty much invulnerable. And it is one of those unique games that concept was unique enough for me to actually want to play this game and give it a chance, and I love the hell out of it. Now, this was the game as it came out, of course. So, Brian, you've played a lot of recent games lately that have come out probably in like the last year or so.
I've played a few, yeah.
Yeah, so of course, like I said, generation, the different games tend to cater to want to go for the mass instead of whatnot. Do you think that this game that came out, 6 years ago? 7 years ago?
2010.
Yeah. 6 years ago, would you say that compared to the most games now, does it still hold up? So of course, when I reviewed Soul Reaver, which came out in like the mid 90s to late 90s, I still say it holds up to the current generation as far as gameplay and story and whatnot. Do you think that this game matches up to anything that's come out recently?
I think it would match up for the style of game it is. The way I played made the game drag out. But if someone went straight through, no searching, no cutting through, it would be short. That would be a shortcoming of the game. Especially for a storytelling game. Like if it's a first-person shooter, that's fine. But a storytelling game, which this one is, usually would need to be a little bit longer.
It's really rare to find a game that puts story first. And this game does it very well. As a matter of fact, I spent...
in like 4 different ways it put it first.
I spent at least almost 100 hours total, like, all 3 difficulties, both DLCs on all 3 difficulties, like getting every single achievement on this game. And it has been overly worth it. And to be able to own it right now, I'm actually glad the way I own it in the collection I do. Because I'm a huge fan of this game. But like I said, Brian only knew about this game through word of mouth, through...
wanting it and getting a free game player's guide.
Yeah, so you got a strategy guide, which is still unopened. He didn't know anything about this game.
Nope.
And then a book that basically, in a literal way, not literally speaking, but in a literal as far as like the book actually chronicalized the making the game, conceptualizing the game, and actually production and post production. He had those books, and that's all he knew about this game.
That's it, and I wanted to play it. I will say about chapter 2 out of what, 5? 6?
6.
By chapter 2 out of 6, the feeling of dread was gone, basically. Like, there's a few new things here and there that pop up, but it was no longer a survival horror kind of game. Like the first chapter, because you don't know what's happening, it creeps you out. I'm pretty sure we could have probably dropped the sensitivity or the light a click or two more, but it was good. It was good, but.
And of course, if anyone has watched these videos through entirety, Bryan went through on hard mode right away.
Yep.
Of course, we had a little bit of a mix-up because he started on his profile and then continued playing on mine. So Nightmare was unlocked, but he still decided to go through hard in general.
To keep it
consistent.
Consistent, yeah.
And to jump on hard mode for a first timer is pretty fucking ridiculous.
Well, I just love
Nightmare in itself as a veteran player is fucking ridiculous.
I wanted to do Nightmare, but I couldn't do it on my profile because you have to do hard first. No, because I'm that kind of, especially with survival horror games like BioShock, Resident Evil. Like I love going for it.
So did this game live up to the hype for you?
I will give it, for up to the hype, I'll give it an 80 out of 100. Up to just as a game and good play, like it's pretty solid.
Yeah. Remedy has done very well. Remedy did the first 2 Max Payne games, and they also did this game and Quantum Break. So when you bought Quantum Break, you got a digital copy of this game. But why play the digital copy of this game when you could actually get the original for pretty cheap and play the original as is? No fixes, nothing, and just enjoy it. Of course, Bryan hasn't played any of the DLC. He hasn't played the continuation, which is Alan Wake American Nightmares. I haven't played Alan Wake American Nightmares at all either. But he has joined the ranks as people who are waiting for Alan Wake 2.
Oh yeah, it's not a lake; it's an ocean.
Yeah. So spoiler there, in case you.
No one's gonna understand it until they play the game all the way through anyway.
I will say, well, the views on Last Retro Spotlight, barely anyone watched the gameplay, but yet the review of the game got a shit ton more views than the fucking playthrough.
That's fine.
So that's what I'm saying. They're just jumping to the reviews. Spoiler alert on that. Yeah, because it is at the end of the game. I will say this at that fair point. It is at the end of the game.
It is at the end of the game, but it's one of those things you won't get it till you get there.
Yeah.
So.
All right, and so of course this has got critical acclaim from Jarrell from Underachievers, and it's gotten critical acclaim from me. I would definitely say if you want to own this game or buy it and play it on your own, buy Quantum Break and get the port if you want. But I say the real money is in getting the actual 360 copy of the game if you still have 360. It is 360 backwards compatible now on the Xbox One. So it's definitely worth the money to go ahead and save a lot more dime instead of getting 2 games for 1 for $60. Unless you want to play Quantum Break. If you don't want to, if you're on Quantum Break, then at least spend like the $16 you might spend on Amazon to getting at least a standard
copy, yeah.
A standard copy of Alan Wake. Like I said, I happen to luck out and get this for like $26, and it's for me as a fan, it's been a very good buy. I was very fortunate. Hopefully you'll be as fortunate too. So thanks for joining us on this review of Alan Wake, and our next review is actually going to be on Resident Evil. Whenever the hell I decide to finish that and play it.
All I know is this game makes me more want to get that freaking typewriter fixed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say about the game? Besides the fact that it forces you to want to get the typewriter fixed.
Well, but you should play it, and play it in the dark. Like, do that. Like, get into it.
Yeah. So we didn't do any FaceTime recordings of us playing, or video of Brian playing it. But yeah, he had the lights turned out in the entire house while he was playing it.
For most of it, I think the last like 2, because we had my roommate in the room talking around us.
Do you want to comment on the writing of the game?
Oh, it was very well done. I like the whole story and the story aspect of it, because Alan Wake is a writer. That's kind of the thing. So it revolves around a story.
He's like a Stephen King level writer in the game.
In the game's universe, he is. Yeah, he goes on like book tours and everything. Like, yeah, it's pretty substantial.
Now you understand like why. Even for me, like it was like the story was there, the gameplay was there. It's a great game, and after this, Remedy, has yet to steer me wrong, because Quantum Break was actually pretty decent for what it was.
Now they just need to remedy the situation of Alan Wake 2.
Boom. So hopefully we'll get that within this current generation, if not in the next generation. Next generation, I think might be a little bit too late, but of course I'll still shell out the cash for it.
Like I said, they just went for the patent of Alan Wake's return. So
yeah, that's still like
I know,
pretty far off.
I'd be great to see it at next E3 though.
Yeah, I would definitely any news, even if it's not E3 news. The fact that if they just released a small trailer for this game, I would be fucking ecstatic.
Yeah.
All right, so once again, everyone, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for Resident Evil.
Bye.
Later.